Hello, welcome to this presentation on healthy relationships. My name is Craig Bideman. I work for University Health Services at UMass Boston. I'll be leading this presentation. So who am I? I'm Craig. I work for University Health Services. As I said, I'm the Health and Wellness Promotion Specialist. I hold 2 bachelor's degrees from Oregon State University. And then after I went there, I came out to Massachusetts to go to graduate school at UMass Amherst, where I got my master's in higher education administration from UMass Amherst. And I've been at UMass Boston for almost 5 years now. And it has been a treat of my life being able to serve the students at UMass Boston. It is my job to make sure that folks take care of themselves. So I cover any topics from mental health education, sexual health education, relationship wellness, as well as overall and physical wellness as well. So any part of what it takes to be a holistic, healthy, well person, that's a big part of my job. And I try to take it seriously, and I do take it seriously. And I hope that this presentation is something that you can take some good information from, and you can learn about this topic as well. So we're going to be talking about healthy relationships and unhealthy relationships in this presentation. I'm also going to talk about what it looks like to create safety plans if you are in an unhealthy relationship, and what it looks like to support friends who might be in unhealthy relationships. So throughout the course of this presentation, you might experience some feelings, emotions, or realizations that maybe a relationship you had been in was not the healthiest, or maybe a relationship that one of your friends in is not the healthiest, or you might get some validation that your relationship is a-okay. Regardless, if you need someone to talk to at the end of this presentation, just let me know. I'll have my email address at the end, and you can reach out to me and we can talk, and hopefully I can help you out. Now, power dynamics. This is what we're going to dig into first. What are power dynamics? All relationships are built on some sort of power dynamic or another. Think about where power comes from. It's not just one person. Relational power reflects the me and the you that makes the couple, but also the us that emerges from a relationship. People's personalities, as well as the interdependent experiences of being in a specific relationship, help define what power looks like in any given relationship. So it's not just one person, it can be both and it can also be what comes out of the relationship from the um, from the power that both people have given to one another. In quote unquote traditional heterosexual relationships, men and women have differing levels of power in society. So more than likely, a man will have more power in a relationship, primarily because of societal pressures and internal stigma as well. So what that looks like is a man making more of the decisions, taking up more space, and being the person who folks go to in terms of getting information about the couple, instead of giving any sort of respect or attention to the woman in the relationship. This is different across all sorts of relationships, any sort of queer, non-binary, trans individuals. All of those relationships at different levels of power, and power differs across different relationship domains. It also includes the decision-making process. So this is where I was just talking about men tend to make those decisions. So a healthier relationship would give power to both people, or multiple people in the relationship if there are more than 2 people in a relationship. Um, Spreading that power, spreading that influence is important and really healthy. Power also reflects interdependence. So it means that folks are actually giving each other mutual respect, rather than um, giving each other um, um, like taking over the other person. Um, it also means resisting influence, and also resisting influence is a type of power as well. So what that means is folks who um, are in a relationship where they feel potentially a little bit pressured or there is influence being pressed upon them. Resisting that influence is creating some sort of power as well. And the people who are holding the more power in a relationship are the ones that are pushing that influence onto the other person, and making sure that people aren't necessarily doing that to another person in a relationship is important as well. And that's where friends can come into handy as well. We're going to dig into that a little bit later. Now let's look at unhealthy relationships. Here are some signs of an unhealthy relationship: intensity, jealousy, both of those things going together pretty well, meaning that someone is just kind of like overwhelming the other person with where are you, where are you going, what are you doing, who are you with, manipulating a person, trying to make them do the things that the person with the power is manipulating their partner, trying to get them to do whatever they want to do. Also kind of goes with coercion, which is also on the list. So coercing someone to do what you want them to do by any level of extreme means. Isolating the person from friends, from family, making sure that they don't have any sort of contact with people outside of the relationship. That sort of isolation creates a massive hole in that person's life where they don't feel like they have anyone that they can talk to or confide in, because the person with power is um, is hoarding all of that attention. It can also lead to sabotaging someone else's life. It can mean um, damaging that person's self respect, self worth, self esteem, just so that they can feel like it is in their best interest to stay in this relationship, which is also a big level of invalidating that person's needs, wants, and existence as a human being. So, invalidation and invalidating feelings, gaslighting, doing any sort of behavior that can render someone incapable of feeling like they have self-worth enough to um, challenge or overcome the power imbalance in the relationship. Belittling another person in the relationship, making them feel like their experiences and um, their life choices are not good enough or are not of worth. Guilting someone, using guilt and manipulation and coercion are kind of a big um, a big issue, because guilting someone into doing something is not going to get very good results if you're trying to get someone who actually cares about what you're doing, because it basically just means that that person's just going along and may not actually like care. And in a relationship, you should care, you should feel loved. And if you're feeling guilted into being in a relationship, that is not a very good sign at all. Being a volatile person, someone who's loud, someone who's angry, someone who is constantly um, um, being violent, is not a healthy person to be around. Deflecting responsibility, so not taking responsibility for one's actions, is a really big bad sign of an unhealthy relationship, because um, respect and trust and loyalty all come down to being able to admit when you're wrong and taking responsibility for your actions. Betrayal, so any level of cheating, um, two timing, or um, just constant lying and deceit can all fall into betrayal. And I've touched on coercion. Basically, trying to get someone to do something they don't want to do is not a good sign at all. In terms of consent, I always say that 99 no's and one yes is still a no, because just because you wore someone down enough to where they agreed with you or wanted to do something with you doesn't mean that it's okay now. Understanding these behaviors can help figure out if you're in an unhealthy or dangerous relationship. Many times, these behaviors are used to gain power or control and can have a negative impact on your well being or day to day life. In some cases, these unhealthy behaviors can escalate to violence. If you feel like something might be off in your relationship, trust your gut and get some help. Talk to friends, talk to family, talk to professionals. They're here to help. They're here to help you get the support that you need. Being guilted into a relationship is no reason to stay with someone. This is something that I've had to explain a few times to folks because it's something that comes up a lot, especially in young relationships, when folks still aren't very good at expressing their feelings and expressing their emotions. It's good to make sure that you have this sort of validation that you don't need to stay with someone just because they're guilting you to do so. Now, let's take a look at healthy relationships. What do those look like? Some signs of a healthy relationship: comfortable pace, making sure that all the people involved in the relationship are moving at a good pace that makes them feel heard, makes them feel validated. Validation is on the list as well, making sure that people's emotions are being respected and making sure that people feel like they're being heard. Trust and honesty are really huge in a healthy relationship. Independence, being able to offer um, the freedom of being an independent person who doesn't have to have the other person around and just to feel like they are being um, uh, like in an unhealthy relationship, being held captive and isolated in a relationship. Independence allows all people in the relationship to feel like they have options, they have the ability to do more than just experience life with just one person. They can have friends, family, co-workers, everyone just be involved in their life. And a lot of that comes down to having respect for one another and having respect in the relationship whatsoever. um, Equality, um, all members of the relationship having equal levels of power and and respect for one another. Compassion, just honestly being a compassionate person in a relationship just means showing that you care, showing that you love, giving empathy, being there when someone fails and not holding it against them completely, and just knowing that you can grow together. Taking responsibility for your actions, unlike in an unhealthy relationship, this just means being someone who actually does. Uh, Appreciate accountability. Loyalty in a relationship is very important. It's important because it shows that you care about that one person specifically, and or multiple people specifically in in a consenting relationship. Loyalty to one or more people just shows that you are actually um, contributing in a healthy, loving manner. Communication and being a cooperative member of the relationship kind of go hand in hand because as long as you're being upfront and caring and um, showing that you are good at expressing your needs and your wants, those are going to be very good keys of a healthy relationship. And holding everyone accountable in the relationship is also huge. Healthy relationships are ones that bring out the best in you. Even though no relationship is perfect, healthy relationships make you feel good almost all of the time and generally bring you up and not down. Here are some of the those were some of the characteristics and behaviors of a healthy relationship. Keep in mind that not all of those behaviors that with all of those behaviors there's a threshold for when it can become unhealthy. For instance, loyalty is great, but at a certain time it can be unhealthy if you are being loyal to a partner who continuously disrespects you. At the end of the day, use those characteristics in a healthy relationship to make you feel confident and supported. You should feel good in a relationship. That's that's the primary reason we have relationships, is so that we feel like um, we are being taken care of and we are being loved. You should feel love in a relationship. You should feel as though that person or those people care about you, and that you are being treated fairly and with the amount of respect and comfort and care that you deserve. Now let's talk about safety plans. The reason we bring up safety plans is for unhealthy relationships can be a little bit too much, and you might need to involve some people in your life to help you out in case you feel like you are unable to do so yourself. So, a thorough safety plan can provide clarity and strength for a person living in an abusive relationship. For family and friends of an abuse victim, a safety plan is a powerful tool for providing emotional support or physical safety. Should a situation ever escalate to life threatening, a safety plan can become absolutely essential for survival. A safety plan is a personalized, practical plan that includes ways to remain safe while in an abusive relationship, while you're planning to leave or after you leave. Safety planning involves how to cope with emotions, tell friends and family about the abuse, take legal action, and anything else relevant to your unique situation. A good safety plan will have all of the vital information you need, and it will walk you through different scenarios. Safety planning while living with an abusive partner looks like identifying the safest places in your home, practicing how to get out of the house safely, and keeping weapons locked away and or letting a support network know about the situation. So these are all tricky situations. They're not very easy to navigate, but as long as you are hopefully aware of what's happening in your relationship, you can seek out folks to help you out, and you can get a good safety plan created. If you have a therapist, or go see a therapist, or talk to someone who can be a good resource for you, they can help walk you through creating a safety plan as well. Resiliency is a really powerful act when it comes to um, surviving an unhealthy relationship. It can be hard to love again after being in an abusive relationship. It can be hard to let yourself be vulnerable or open to another person. And the hope throughout all of that is eventually there is a day or a time when you're able to open up again and trust and love someone who cares about you for you, instead of the power and control that comes with some levels of relationships that exist in the world. So my hope for folks who are reading some of this or listening to some of this, and they're experiencing feelings of doubt, shame, fear, know that you're not the first to feel that. There are other people out there who are experiencing those things, and you are not alone. You have all sorts of support. And my hope is that folks will help you out. And this is a way that you can get help, and the way that you can help your friends. Believe that person. Don't tell the friend it is their fault. Don't pry or try to get information out of the person if they're unwilling to share, but be ready when the individual is ready to talk. Many abusers are unaware that what they've done is a problem. So make sure if you have a friend who is the abuser, talk to them and make sure that they understand why what they have done is a problem. I have plenty of resources. If you've never had that conversation, you can email me and I can send those to you. Don't suggest physical or any other form of retaliation. Learn about and share available resources. Listen and be patient. All of these things can come into handy when you're helping a friend in an unhealthy relationship, either the abuser or the abusee, the person being abused. There are plenty of ways that we can actually make some pretty powerful difference if we just speak up and speak up about our experiences, and how folks can be more resilient in that reality. So just be there for someone, help them out, help each other, look out for each other. If you feel like this presentation was difficult for you to listen to, I will be here for you, because I'm done now. That's all I had. And this is how you can get a hold of me. Go to craig.bideman@umb.edu. You can also check out our website, umb.edu/wellness. And that's really all I had for you. I hope you learned something from this. I hope this helped in some way. I hope you're also able to um, grow from some of the information that I shared. And if you do feel like you need to talk, just send me an email and we'll be good to go. All right. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Have a good day.